Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, Grizzlies, wherever you are from, and welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. And we have, again, today, this evening, this afternoon, whenever, we have Stephen Keogh, former Scotland Yard, with us over here. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, G. You good?
Yeah, I'm good, and I'm ready for part two. Are you?
Can I just say, what an impressive intro that is. Wow.
Thank you.
That's really professional. Well done.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope you guys liked it too, Grizzlies. Let me know, and please do answer the poll. I've put up a poll for them. We are asked, who do you believe the killer in the Delphi case is? Keegan Klein, which is this new Anthony Shots social media guy, James Chadwell II, someone in law enforcement, or someone else? 50% say someone else. Very interesting. So keep that going. Okay, we can ask that later. Jennifer says, can you ask Stephen about his thoughts about Daniel Robinson? We can ask you later about that. So I'm just going to write that down for later, because that would be interesting. Okay, so we did part one on Murder Academy, which is Stephen's channel. So if you haven't checked that out, please do go and check that out. That was part one, where we did a very comprehensive police-based law enforcement timeline. So that was great. And now we are here for part two. And surprise, surprise, there'll be a part three as well, isn't it?
The trilogy. I'm calling it the trilogy.
Yes, the Delphi Trilogy. So that's on Friday on Stephen's channel. Same time, right? Same time as now.
Yeah.
And it's a Q&A. So I'll be there as well.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, and hello, mods. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's always nice to see you. So I've got a little presentation that I've prepared for you guys. So I'm going to go through that. It shouldn't take too long. I'm just going to run through it, and then we can hypothesize afterwards. I thought it'll be very interesting to hear again your hypotheses, the 4 scenarios, and then just talk about some of the stuff we saw in the presentation. So we're ready. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to, how did I do it? Like this. Wait, this one. Oh, it's always figuring out this. There we go. Okay. So I just want to click on it as well. So, of course, everyone can hear me, right? You can still hear me. Always nervous people can hear me. Okay, we're looking at the Delphi, which used to be known as the Snapchat murders, but now it's known as the Delphi murders. Abigail Williams and Liberty German. So I thought we could, I'm right here, guys, by the way. I'm right here. I just take myself off screen so I can show you the pictures. I thought we could just look at a little bit of background of each victim. So Abigail Williams, that is her date of birth and the day that she died, even though her gravestone says 13th of February. We'll go to that now. Okay, so she was born on June 23rd, 2003 in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, to her mother, Anna Marie Williams. They don't mention her father at all, so I'm not too sure where he is. Abby was an 8th grader at Delphi Community Middle School, where she played saxophone in the school band. She was on the volleyball team. She had attended several area churches with her family. She enjoyed reading and had a big reading counts number in her language arts class. She loved to camp and swim and loved being outdoors. She liked riding ATVs with her family on camping trips to Michigan. She loved all animals, especially her cat Bongo. No, I couldn't find a picture of Bongo. She enjoyed photography and art, drawing, and creating little masterpieces that decorated her mother's home. She and her good friend Libby were excited and looking forward to planning their next 4 years of school together. She was buried at Monticello, I don't know exactly how to say that, White County, Indiana, USA, and she was only 13 years old. Like, my goodness. Okay. Sorry, I'm waiting for the next slide. So they wrote, and though she be but little, she is fierce. The obituary that was released indicated that the date of death was sometime after midnight on February 14th, which I found quite interesting. So memorize that one, Stephen. You can hypothesize, speculate later. I know they can't tell an exact time of death, but they were like sometime after midnight on February 14th, which was interesting, with some of the death details confirming this. The marker on her burial site was inscribed February 13th, though. Yes, everyone, I see your comments. I will get to them. Next, we'll look at Liberty Rose Lynn German, so known as Libby. And she was born on the 27th of December, 2002. In Lafayette, Tippecanoe, is that how we say that, County, Indiana. She was an active, fun-loving sports star who played volleyball, soccer, and she was a swimmer. She was also very creative and loved photography, art, and crafts. Her sister, Kelsey, said that Libby had her phone on her 24/7 and was very outgoing, brave, and bubbly. She died on the 14th of February, 2017, and was buried in Pittsburgh, Carroll County, Indiana, USA. So they had separate funerals. Sorry, I'm just checking your comments there as well. They're both catfish as well. Okay. So here's some pictures of them, which I found quite sweet to find these pictures that I'd never seen before, besides the ones on the right-hand side. You can see some pictures of them just being teenage girls and just having fun like they were supposed to. Thanks, Lorraine. I pronounced it right. Tippecanoe. So they said here, construction began in the spring of 2019 on a 20-acre Abby and Libby Memorial Park, and donations are still being accepted. The NBA All-Star 2021 Host Committee also announced in February 2020 that it would award a $50,000 All-Star Legacy Grant to the foundation to help in the construction of the sports complex. If you live in that area and you go there, please let me know. I would love to see how it's progressing. That's her sister, Libby, and her sister on the right-hand side. Okay, so are we ready for a bit of a timeline? Are you okay there, Stephen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good.
We're good.
What I'm liking about yours has got more life to it than mine, and it makes it a bit harder, doesn't it, when you see the girls for what they are, the personalities, and what they want to do. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it's really difficult to read. You know that they love painting and drawing, just even to read here what they did on their last night together. It makes it very difficult to deal with, I suppose. Okay, I'm going to take myself off again here for a bit to read you the timeline. So if we look at February the 12th, 2017, Abby slept over at Libby's grandmother's house. They painted, they watched movies, they ate pizza. I didn't put pizza there, but they ate pizza as according to her sister, and they were having fun as teenage girls would. Then on February 13th, 2017, Abby and Libby have an unexpected day off from school. It was unseasonably warm that day. So when they say unexpected, let me put myself back on for a second. When they say unexpected day off, what they mean is that apparently they had less snow days than previous years. So they decided to give the kids off that day. So they were very excited about this. It's like a free day off. And so, of course, they wanted to go outside. They had banana pancakes and asked to go to Monon High Bridge walking trail. Teens often go there. They ride their bikes. They collect geocache. Now, Stephen, do you know what geocache is? Because I don't know.
I'm 50, not a teenager, so I'm way
I literally
out of this
didn't
sort of
know. I
stuff.
was like, "What's geocache?" So when I looked into that, it's like these. I would assume applications where it's like these little rewards that you can collect. So you can download an application, a geocache application, and it tells you where there's little like treasure boxes worldwide.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I kind of get the idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and then people
like
go
a virtual treasure hunt type thing, like.
Yeah, except the treasure's for real. It's actually there.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Apparently, you can find treasure all over the world. So this could be quite interesting. I'd be quite curious. I don't want to get started because I'll go down that rabbit hole. But it's worldwide. Like in the Netherlands, they would have some of them as well. And you can go and actually get the treasure that the app leads you to. And then once you find it, you unlock it with a secret code and you see what's inside. And people update it as well. So they used to go to this area for geocaching. That's what her sister said, Libby's sister, which I found quite interesting. So they went there to ride their bikes, collect geocache, and hang out. So Kelsey drops them off at an entrance of Monon High Bridge Trail that is across from the Mears farm. It's an unofficial parking area, so not at the Freedom Bridge parking area. And that was at between 1:38 and 1:40. I know some reports say 1:35, some say 1:40. But according to her sister, it was between 1:38 and 1:40 because she was on the phone to her boyfriend and she was on her way there. Libby called her dad, Derek, and asked if he could pick them up. He said he would pick them up on his way back home later. He was actually on site. He was something like 2 hours away, taking photographs for his mother, Becky Patty, so Libby's grandmother's real estate business. So that's what he was doing. He said, "Don't worry, I'll pick you up on the way back." Okay, so yes, and they were a little bit naughty because the granny's condition was if you want to go to Monon High Bridge Trail, I don't think anyone assumed they want to really walk over the bridge. But if you want to go there to the trail, you got to make sure you get a lift home and you get a ride there, of course, and that you take a warm jacket and they said, yeah, no problem. And it's fine with Abby's parents, like teenage girls would. And actually, they hadn't asked Abby's parents, and they hadn't yet asked for a ride home. On the way there, in the back of the car, they called Derek and said, can you pick us up? So typical teenage girls, right? Okay, so if I continue here. Wait, there we go. Keep it rolling. Okay, so the trail is 1.44 miles in length. People have said around 2 miles, approximately 2 miles, but I measured it and I looked it up, and it's 1.44 miles in length, beginning at the Freedom Bridge. The bridge is 70 foot high and 853 feet long. I know this is all in American measurements, but yes, 83% of the audience is American. So you guys will know what this is, right? The last train crossed it in 1929, and you should see those old pictures. Oh my word. So it's very rickety bridge, like really abandoned, not very safe to walk over. But obviously teenagers like the thrill. At 2:05 p.m., the girls were crossing Monon High Bridge. How did they know that? Because Libby, well, she could have taken it just before, but Libby uploads a photo of the bridge to Snapchat. And then at 2:07, Libby posts a photo of Abby to Snapchat. Libby was standing on platform 3 when the photo of Abby was taken, and she filmed the bridge guy when they were at the end of the bridge. Okay, I see someone's talking about geocache there. I'll read it in a moment. So yeah, that was the last picture of Abby alive, which is very sad. Now at 3:11 p.m., Derek, Libby's dad, called to say that he was passing Wilson's Bridge, which was a few minutes away from the trailhead, and he got no answer. At 3:14, he called again and got no answer. So he parked, got out, and walked around to look for them. He was around the Freedom Bridge area. At 3:30 p.m., Derek called his mother, Libby's grandmother, so that's Becky Patty, and told them that he couldn't find the girls. There were only 2 routes to walk back home, so Becky Patty checked both of those routes. She drove that to just see. Maybe they walked home. Maybe they didn't know if you were coming, whatever. Kelsey mentioned that Libby had factory reset her phone the week before. So that's something to keep in mind for later, because that's interesting. And then at 5:20 p.m., the family decided to call law enforcement and officially report the girls missing. Libby was afraid of the dark, and it was getting colder, so they were really worried because they knew she wouldn't just run off into the woods in the dark. And at 6 p.m., the police asked Kelsey about the Snapchat pictures that Libby had posted, and a massive search party started looking for the girls. So in a way, social media served them. In one way it did, in another not so much, because they may have connected with someone very, very sinister. At approximately 3 p.m. So have you heard of the flannel shirt guy? There's all these like terms. There's like flannel shirt guy. And I'm like, who is this guy? Find a picture of him. This is flannel shirt guy. So at approximately 3 p.m., David McCann, is it McCain or McCann? McCann, flannel shirt guy, crosses paths with bridge guy on the trail. David makes his way to the Monon High Bridge and notices 2 girls. Oh, I said on the bridge, which was not Abby and Libby. It was these 2 girls. I can't remember their names. But they were posing on the bridge and just there a little bit. So he's like, oh, yeah, I saw 2 girls, but not teenage girls. So we'll carry on a bit. We're almost there. We're more than halfway through this presentation. Then this one. Okay, I can put myself here for a second. So Stephen, you also showed a map. This here is the bridge. Now, what I find interesting is where you see where the little footsteps are going. That's where the red starts is kind of where the guy's making his way back, supposedly. That's his assumed route back to the trail and crossing paths with the flannel shirt guy. But where I put that red pin there is where I've seen some old news articles list where the bodies, that area was where the bodies were found, which I found quite interesting. So maybe I could move myself around. Wait, let's just take myself like this. Oh man, I can't. I'm flying. This is interesting. And this line that I drew is from Freedom Bridge. And they say they were 3/4 of a mile from Freedom Bridge. So they don't want to disclose exactly where the bodies were. But when I did a whole bunch of map time and everything, it's probably more up there. It's interesting. I don't know if you saw that or looked into. It doesn't matter really exactly where it is.
All I've seen is like a big circle, and I don't know where within that it is. So.
Yeah, they make a giant circle, definitely.
Yeah.
But when they keep saying 3/4 of a mile, if you should I fly again? 3/4 of a mile. If you measure from the bridge here across to where they say here, that's not 3/4 of a mile. That's like 0.1. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck is going on there? Then I looked into it and I'm like, oh, from Freedom Bridge. So I think it's more up there. They just don't want people to go snooping around there too much, or I don't know. I don't know why. They just haven't disclosed the exact location.
Mm.
They definitely crossed the creek at the shallow part where the footsteps are. Anyway, hello, Lieutenant Peter Pronzo. Nice to see you.
Hi, Peter.
Yes. Okay. Oh, sorry. I was still going to read this. So Kelsey, Libby's sister, said, how did they find the bodies? She said, okay, well, first off, I was standing on the trail that's right under the bridge looking out into the woods, and somebody yelled up that they had found a shoe. And when they had found the shoe, they asked what kind of shoes the girls were wearing, and they yelled out the type of shoe that Libby was wearing. So I yelled down and told them that. Actually, then the person that had asked, that had put up their phone and saw 2 deer in the ground moving. And so he was looking to see what it might be, and he saw 2 deer standing up there. And when he saw them, he moved the camera down, and there we found them. Now, even that's strange, because if you've seen the creek and the area where they were found, it's a huge embankment. So
Is
for a
it?
guy to stand on one side and say, oh, I saw 2 deer and moved my camera and saw the bodies, it's not possible.
Yeah.
It's not possible. So you see, we're putting in some speculation time. Things to think about. I'm like, how did he see that? Yeah, so from the side where they crossed to the other side, there's no way you could see on top there.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of videos I watched on there as well. Yes, on the interwebs. So they found a shoe, and apparently, I don't know if you've heard those calls that were, damn it, what's the word now? When you call in, what's it
Oh,
called?
these scanners.
Yes. Have you heard those?
Yeah, I stayed away from them, but I was aware of them. I didn't listen to them.
I listened to them, and they found girls' undergarments, so underwear under the bridge. That's so scary. That could just be someone else. It doesn't have to mean it's them, but my goodness. Yeah, so that was an interesting one. So let's see here. Okay, so this was, of course, I just thought I'd show you the crime scene photo. It was quite a big area as well that they searched, which of course they had to.
It would be, yeah.
Right? You would tape off quite a big area. You have a lot of that experience.
Yeah.
Who rolls out the tape? Yeah, who does that?
Often it's the first police that turn up. And then what we'd normally do is end up saying to them, no, you have to move it out, because they normally sort of concentrate on where the body is, and we'll say, well, no, because anything could have gone on around it. This, I would imagine, is probably some sort of CSI has pushed it back. If that's the last one, that's where it's ended up. That's generally what would happen.
Okay, that makes sense. This was from your presentation. Remember you talked about the car? Like, what car is it? I like that accent. What car is it going to be? So I put a whole bunch of cars at the bottom here. So on February 14th at 2 p.m., police hold a press conference to announce that they found 2 bodies and suspect foul play. On February 15th at 8 a.m., autopsies were performed, and by 12 they were complete. I found that interesting. Obviously to identify.
I can't get my head around that. So for us, a post-mortem would take, on one of those girls, I would imagine would take at least 4 hours. So unless they were run simultaneously by 2, what do you call them over there, coroners or medical examiners. If they were run simultaneously, potentially, but I did think that was quite quick.
It was pretty quick for 2 girls, and then it makes their cause of death very easy to determine, right? Just like, boom, 4 hours for both. Yeah,
I mean, if you're talking, if it was multiple stab wounds, I'd have to log each wound, and it does take a long time. So, I mean, you can't really draw conclusions from it. Like I say, if they're running simultaneously, then maybe 4 hours might be a bit right. But that did sort of make me think, really.
Yeah.
4 hours.
And there actually some news reports were already at 10 o'clock saying, okay, they've confirmed it's them. Like, oh my word, that was quick.
Yeah, that was extremely quick. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at Nightbot. Who knows what Nightbot's saying, guys? I'm not too sure. Okay, so autopsies were performed, and at 3 p.m. they announced that they are now investigating the double homicide of Abby and Libby. Then, I don't know the exact date of this. Is it February there was at this, you put it on your presentation, the date when they said the car, they said, we're seeking the public's help to identify the driver of a vehicle that was parked at the old CPS DCS welfare building in the city
April
of Delphi.
2019. Yeah.
Ah, okay, yes. So the reason I put this here is I just wanted to show, because I was very curious, where is that building? So let me take myself out the way that you could see. There it is. So you can see the Monon High Bridge Trail, where it begins, and just north, to the north, slightly west of it, there is this building that they're talking about. Because I'm like, why are they interested in that? So yes, they said they're looking for this car. They initially said abandoned car, but it's actually an abandoned building, a car parked in an abandoned building. Yes. Between noon and 5 p.m. But of course, they didn't tell us the make, the model, the color, or anything. So it's just any one of these. Could literally be anything. Yes. So I'm just going to keep going here quickly. Then we've got Bridge Guy. February 15, 2017. They released still images of Bridge Guy. I'm showing the picture on the left because that's the picture they released first. And yes, I put a hat on the guy on the right. I did that. I was just so curious to see what will he look like with a damn hat on. I just wanted someone to do that. Put a hat on and let's just see how it looks then in comparison. So that was just for fun. He wasn't seen with the hat on by that witness, which is why the hair is there allegedly. So, but that's what he would look like with the hat on.
Someone said to me on my comments that they didn't think it was a hat. So I enlarged it and had a real detailed look at it. And it looks to me it actually might be a hood.
Yeah.
When you look, this bit here, you can see something.
I think it's like a hoodie and a hat, not?
So if someone has seen, it does kind of make sense then, doesn't it? If someone's seen him without a hat and he's approaching the girls and he's put his hood up as he's approaching the girls, it would make sense if someone's seen him further on and they had been able to describe his hair.
Yes.
It's something I thought when I was looking at it yesterday.
That's true. In my opinion, it's a like a army type hoodie, like some kind of, but then also with a cap. It's kind of a combination. Right. I don't know. Right. I don't know. To really be disguised, I suppose. Yeah. And then when he comes out later, maybe he's like, hoodie off, hat off. My goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then the sketch on the right was released later. We know all about that.
But weirdly, the one on the right was done before the one on the left, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes.
But they released them the other way around.
Exactly. And then they said that first one they released, really, that's not the guy they're looking for. Very interesting. So on February 22nd, 2017, they said the recording was longer than what has been released. Police won't release any more to protect the integrity of the investigation, but they've seen the video and likely won't be able to stop thinking about it. I found that quite interesting. My word. And some people said, sometimes they've said it is 6 minutes, and sometimes they said 40 minutes. What have you heard? How long the recording that they have is?
They saw the video and can't stop thinking about it. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the audio, I could understand if it was in the pocket and it was whilst it was going on. But if it was the video, he would have seen her taking it and taking it off of him, wouldn't he?
That's what I'm thinking, because this is their statement.
I've got to be honest, I didn't really delve into that because I was looking at the police side. I kind of stayed away from not the gossip, if you like, but the sort of the other bits.
Yes.
So you know more than me, honestly.
Oh no, I'm just there, I'm in the swamps of Reddit. I'm on the internet. I'm looking at YouTubers. I'm looking at everything that I can.
I bet you are.
Then from there, just trying to find the most logical things.
Yeah. You just got to pick out what looks right, don't you, from all that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because there's a lot of rubbish being talked, isn't there?
Absolutely. So that statement I did also find interesting, but they've seen the video and likely won't be able to stop thinking about it. Interesting. And then on May the 13th, 2017, a celebration of life is held for the girls. On June 16th, 2017, police reached 18,000 tips received. July 17th, the initial sketch is released. July 18th, police add staff to analyze the high volume of tips. October 3rd, 2017, Indiana State Police visit Colorado to investigate Daniel Nations after receiving a tip. So that was a whole thing. November the 11th, 2017, Carroll County Prosecutor Rob Ives announces he's stepping down. Interesting.
Just quickly, G, I just thought actually. So if she's filming him coming across the bridge and then has just stuck it in her pocket, then what we're assuming is audio might actually be video, but in her pocket. So it's
Yeah.
only picking up the audio. So where they're saying the video, it's actually a video, but just black picture with the sound. That
Maybe.
makes more
Yeah.
sense, doesn't it?
That makes more sense because I don't think she would have just been out the whole time filming the whole thing, or that
Yeah.
he was
So she's
filming.
filming, stuck it in a pit pocket, and then it's just carried on.
Yes. Goodness. Okay. So January the 1st, 2018, new prosecutor Nicholas McClellan takes the post. January 16, 2018, the owner of the property where the girls' bodies were found is ordered to home detention. So that was interesting. He had a whole bunch of DUIs and things. So people were like, ooh, red flagging him for a while. January 17, 2018, the families of the girls give interviews with national news outlets in hopes of bringing attention to the case. February 13, 2018, Indiana State Police Superintendent speaks on murders 1 year later, which we saw in part 1. April 22, 2019, ISP releases the new sketch and a video clip and said, we also believe that this person is from Delphi currently or has previously lived here, visits Delphi on a regular basis or works here. We believe this person is currently between the age range of 18 and 40, but might appear younger than his true age. My goodness. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you don't know what they know. So are they basing it on the fact they believe that the person must know the area, must have known that trail, must have known where they're going across the creek? And then the assumption is, well, if they know that, they must be local. Or have they got something they're not telling us? It's really, it's a bit. I feel like I'm shooting in the dark because like they've released so little that you're kind of guessing, aren't you? Really, and you've got to read between the lines. And looking at that, to me, would suggest they're either saying it's because he must know the area, or there's something else that they're not telling us. What that something could be, I've no idea.
Exactly, which I think they're almost close to pairing it in a way now, even though, 41% have said maybe Keegan Klein. He seems like quite a likely suspect. I'm looking at the poll. Just because, oh my word, they raided his house. February 25th, we're going to get to that. And they just needed the link, but the link was quickly found by internet sleuths now. So it goes when they found that Libby had a private account and he had a private account, which means they had to friend request each other to see each other's pictures. And he liked one of her pictures, which means they were connected. Anthony Shots, that account. So there's the link. They were definitely in contact before.
Have we ever seen a picture of him 5 years ago? Yeah,
I've got some coming up.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I've got some pictures. I've dug them out a little bit.
Cool.
So let's have a look. So here, okay, so we saw that 18 to 40, quite a broad age range there. But if you take the midway point, that's like 29. Anyway, so here they released this. I know you can't see it on the left, so I've typed it out on the right, the important bits that they put in bullet points there. They released a statement and they said, with the sketches, they are not the same person. The person depicted in the originally released sketch is not presently a person of interest in this investigation. Isn't that interesting? That is just like, oh no, that's not who we. So it's almost like they thought there was someone else at first. Anyway.
Or they've identified who he was. That might be.
Yes. Because that's an interesting way to say it.
Yeah.
It's not presently a person of interest in this investigation.
Because what you're saying, that witness has seen somebody within that area, described him, and if they've managed to find who that person is and eliminate him, then that might be the reason why they've then moved on to the other one. Yeah,
it's almost like saying it without saying it, right? Like, oh dear, we found that guy, investigated. Yeah. It's not that guy. It's this guy.
But you would also as well. It does look like him, doesn't he, with the hat and the build and.
It does, yeah. But you'll see how much more he looks like the new sketch. Even though the new sketch could look like so many people.
Yeah.
I've literally cross-referenced that new sketch with like so many people. It looks like just about everyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, we shall have a look. Okay, so let's see what else I said here. The sketch released on April 22nd is representative of the face of the person captured in the video on Liberty German's cell phone as he was walking on the high bridge. The person in the sketch, released April 22nd, is described as having a youthful appearance, but could fall in the age range from his 20s to late 30s. This person's appearance could look different today if he has grown a mustache, beard, or let his hair grow longer, or cut his hair shorter than depicted in the sketch.
Or got fat.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Youthful, got that glorious youthful fat glow. Yes, you did. So let's see. I think the pictures are coming up. Now we get to him. Speculation time. Okay. They're like, not that guy, this guy. That's what that means. So on April 24th, 2019, ISP clarifies the reasons for the release of the second sketch. On April the 30th, the sheriff asked to stop post images of possible suspects. Yeah, like stop posting images of possible suspects. They were getting annoyed by that. July the 10th, 2019, Libby's sister addresses rumors during a live stream. On January the 8th, 2020, Delphi gets a new police chief. On April the 5th, 2021, the reward for information in the Delphi murders grows to, I mean, isn't this the biggest reward you've ever seen in your life? This is I've never seen a reward like that in a murder case. I might be wrong. There might be others, but I'm like, whoa, that's very hectic. I don't know if there's nothing really suspicious about it. Just like, wow, what a reward.
I think it's very emotive, the crime, isn't it? It's hit home to a lot of people, so people have contributed to it.
Absolutely. And then on December 6, 2021, police seek help to identify the creator of a social media account for Anthony Shots. I think you played this one, right? As far as I remember, you played that one, the latest press release they did.
Yeah.
With that young guy.
The robot.
Yeah, the young robot, that one. Yeah, so Anthony Shots. So now we're just going to look into that a little bit. So initially, when I was going to do part 1 with you, we didn't go into this one because it wasn't even very solid yet, but it's becoming more solid as things go along. It would not surprise me if he's already arrested elsewhere. He's sitting in jail already, but it's interesting, this connection with him. So let me get myself out the way for a second. Keegan Anthony Klein is a 27-year-old man from Peru, Indiana. He's 27 now, so he would have been 22 at the time. According to a search warrant lodged in Indiana on February 25th, 2017, Keegan Klein is a musician and Nevada casino table dealer. In 2017, during questioning, he actually admitted that he created the Anthony Shots account. This is the male model on the left. I have to be clear, he's not a suspect because some people get confused. He's an actual male model, not a suspect. His pictures were stolen by Keegan and used on a catfish account to talk to underage girls. He initially said he spoke to 15 girls, and then later he said about 100. It was so scary. If you read that affidavit, did you see that? There's an affidavit that's now been released for probable cause, and it's like, oh my word, the ages of the girls were between 3 and 11 on average. That is scary. Like 3. When I read that, I'm like, wait, what? Is that a typo? Like 3. My goodness. What a sick guy. Look at him. Youthful, but chubby. Okay, so my word. So here's a picture of him from quite a bit back. I think I have another one on the next slide as well. Yeah, wait. There he is. That was from 3 or 4 years ago, the one on the left.
So he's never been slim, really, has he?
No. Referring to the suspect, he is described as a white male between 5 feet 6 inches, 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing between 180 and 220 pounds with reddish brown hair. So I just put what they said there, and then I put pictures of him. And what I'm showing there on the map is his address, 67 East, is it Canal Cardinal Street? I've got it here on the maps. That's where they actually went and did a search warrant on February 25th. And yes, it's interesting how close it is to Flora because of the unsolved Flora girls case as well. Very close to Flora. And then that's how it would take a 43-minute drive to get to the Monon High Bridge Trail. So that's interesting as well. Let's have a look. It does look like you could walk like the bridge guy based on the photo on the right. Okay, so here I've done a bit of a comparison here. But he does, I mean, okay. The picture up here could look like anyone, but it really does look a lot like him, especially that one on that side, right? Oh my word, Keegan Anthony Klein, age 27 now. So, yes.
But does he not look slimmer, the fella on the bridge?
He does. They're being polite or what? Oh, the fella on the bridge. Yeah.
To me, I don't know. To me, he looks slimmer, but I don't know.
Maybe he was a little bit slimmer when he was 22. I don't know.
Yeah.
And 23 was like, He does a little bit though, actually. Bridge guy looks a bit slimmer.
Yeah.
But you don't know maybe he's hiding all that here. I don't know what he's got around his neck there. Oh, this guy. He can make one sick, honestly. Everyone's saying, what? Oh my word. Yes. Okay, so we've got 2 more slides, I think. The Indiana State Police has received many media inquiries since this is not from, I think, today or yesterday. since our December 6th press release concerning Anthony shots and eventually the identification of Keegan Anthony Klein. Your questions are certainly relevant as they relate to a long, complex, and extremely complicated murder investigation. Isn't that an interesting statement? Long, complex, and extremely complicated. One would think complex means extremely complicated. But
It's doubly
long.
complicated.
Yeah, complex and extremely complicated. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
doubly so.
And why? How many people are we involved in? How many people are involved in this? Could it be a whole ring? I don't know what they're really saying here because long, complex, and extremely complicated. Sounds pretty simple if they did a search warrant.
Yeah.
And have phone evidence, but yet this is what they've said. And then during the last nearly 5 years, we have conducted dozens of secondary investigations based on information we received. One of those investigations included a possession of CP. You guys know what that is. We're using code over here to not have trigger words on YouTube. CP case resulting in the arrest of Keegan Klein. The information we have, and continue to receive concerning Klein has ebbed and flowed over the last few years. We understand there was a period of time that passed between 2017 and 2020 when Klein was not arrested and incarcerated for possession of CP. Yes, a period of time did pass between 2017 and 2020. They're sort of stating the obvious. You know, he was only arrested in 2020. 3 years passed. Yes. So there's that. I can go over all the phones and things they also took if you want. But here, once the Indiana State Police presented the criminal case to the Miami County prosecutor in June of 2020, immediate action was taken by both the Indiana State Police and the Miami County prosecutor's office, which ultimately resulted in Klein's arrest. Like so many other pieces of this investigation, we will always review, learn from, and make any necessary adjustments. We do not believe that any person has done anything intentionally wrong, but we will continue to critically evaluate our efforts. We know there's an enormous interest in the why of everything we do, but we cannot and will not speculate. One day you will have the opportunity to see and know what we do, and we look forward to that day. Okay, Indiana State Police. I don't know if you have any comments there.
I don't know. It's just it all feels a bit weird to me. It's not something I'm quite used to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not. It's really difficult because I don't know what evidence they've got. But I don't want to jump ahead. But if they had any sort of DNA, they can rule him in straight away or rule him out, can't they?
Yeah.
Because he must have had his DNA taken for all the things that he's committed, which. I don't know. I'm getting more and more confused. more
it is confusing, and yeah. I don't feel like they're almost trying to bust a whole ring of people or something. I don't know. And they say like so many other pieces in this investigation, but in that one press conference, they're like, "We're one piece away."
I don't get it because maybe I'm looking at it differently. To me, I don't think it's a complicated inquiry. It's 2 girls were killed in the middle of nowhere. There aren't that many witnesses. The CCTV, it's complicated in as much as it's hard to solve, but it's not like you've got thousands of witnesses and thousands of hours of CCTV and loads of forensics. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it too simplistic. To me, it doesn't look like a complicated inquiry. It looks like it could be a difficult one, but they're different things, aren't they? Difficult and complicated.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is my last slide. Investigators would like any individual that communicated with, met, or attempted to meet Anthony Schott's profile to contact law enforcement by utilizing the tip or email phone number Abby and Libby tip at CACOC SHRF, it's such a long email.com, or 765-822-3535. Don't you find it interesting now they changed the tip line? That annoys me. It used to be a different number. Do you want to complicate it more? You know?
Does this all mean that it's the ISP that are in charge? I still can't quite get my head around who's... Because when the sheriff's spoken to, it says it's him, and then it's the superintendent that takes the lead in that press briefing. And they're putting
very
this
odd.
statement. So I can't quite get my head around who's in charge.
Can't really. And this sheriff actually said that he was initially a suspect. He said that in an interview. And he was a suspect in a 1993 double homicide. I'm like, what?
Who was, sorry?
This guy. He said in an interview, I just can't find the original clip of the interview, but I've seen it on many other channels. If I had the original clip, I'd show it right now. But like I've seen this where he literally was interviewed by the news and he said, actually, I was originally a suspect in this case and a double homicide in 1993. And I'm like,
What?
oh my word. But yet in other interviews, you can't remember how many homicides they had. Apparently they had 3 in 30 years. Yeah, that was quite a statement he made. They're like, oh.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Right. So I
Yeah.
think that is now literally the end of my slide. Yes. Okay. So I can put myself back here and we can do this again. Ah, very nice. So thank you everyone for being patient with me as well. I can see all your comments and the what? I like we could do it British as well. What? Yeah. So I just want to, the number used to be 844-459-5786. And now it's a whole new tip line number, which I'm like, I get it. It's anonymous tip line, but it should have, it's confusing to me that there's 2 different numbers to call now. If you have any information about this guy. Anywho. So shall we hypothesize your hypotheses? The 4 scenarios, just now it would be almost like going back, so we've gone through some of the timeline. Now, what would your hypothesis be if you were Scotland Yard? You've heard about this case and you're investigating. What would you hypothesize?
So I suppose people have seen me talk about hypotheses before. And when you start off at the beginning of inquiry, they're quite broad so that you can cover virtually every potential outcome. And then as you get more information, more evidence, you can narrow them down. So I looked at what hypotheses I would look at for the first day or so when you've just arrived, you just start investigating and you don't know what's gone on. So I looked and I saw 4. So the first 2 are where they're targeted, and the second 2 are where it's random. So the first one would be that the girls were targeted, and that was because of someone connected to them. So when you're talking about catfishing, that's that sort of thing, a boyfriend, they've been lured there for something. So that would cover that. Then it's targeted, but it's not because of them, it's because of their family. It's someone connected to their family. So when I said this on my show, I made sure I was clear that I'm not accusing a family of anything here. This is right at the beginning when you don't know anything and you have to have everything open, and you have to have an open mind about what may have happened. So connected to the family would be something like if they were involved in criminality and they'd upset the wrong people and they targeted their kids, or if they had a lot of money and they were being kidnapped in order to extort money from the parents. So it would cover that sort of thing. Then the 2 random ones, and the reason I split the random ones is to help the investigation. So rather than just saying it was random, it must be someone, anyone, anywhere. I mean, you have to think, right? So in my investigation, who can I look at who's random, but can focus the lines of inquiry. So for me, it was looking at random people within the Carroll County, and then random people from outside of Carroll County that have travelled in order to be there that day, whether or not they were out looking for a girl to kill, or whether they were just walking along and stumbled across them. But either way, they've travelled in on that day. So they were the 4 hypotheses. So targeted because of connections to the girls, targeted because of connections to the family, random from Carroll County, or random from outside the county.
Yes. Okay. I'm writing it down again, even though I was there from outside Carroll County. I like to take notes. So, and which one to you would be the most likely based on everything you know now?
Up until this catfishing thing come about, I would have said 3. I would have said it was random. But without knowing that, so one of the most important things for me, if you're going to differentiate between the 2, random and targeted, is when were the plans made by the girls to go there? Was it just an off the cuff thing, or because if people didn't know they were going to be there and it was just the last minute, old Nan, we're bored, can we go to Monan High Bridge, and then says, okay, we'll take you, then it kind of precludes targeted. But if the girls have been in contact with someone that we don't know and they've said, oh, we'll meet you there, and even just talking about, what did you call it, geocaching? I mean, it's not beyond if you're keeping everything on the table, like with Summer World's case where we're keeping everything on the table. Is there one of these geocaches somewhere nearby and they know it's teenagers. I mean, I'm just, it's random and it might not be, but you got to kind of, that kind of got me thinking, is there another reason why they were targeted? Is it because that someone was expecting young girls to be there? On the limited information, first off, I would have said random from within the county. With this Klein business coming out, you're starting to think, well, is it a fact that someone knew they were going to be there? Is it that young model arranged to be there? And then you've got some fat old bloke coming across the bridge, you know what I mean? And that could be a possibility with this Klein thing coming out. I mean, it's very random for it not to be connected to the murder, because it's coming out from them, isn't it?
Exactly.
And they release very little. So in their mindset where they don't release anything, for them to take the decision to release that, it must be really important to the inquiry. Otherwise, they would do whatever, everything else they've got, and they will keep it close to their chest. So for them to say, right, we need to release this, knowing their mindset, it must be really important.
Yes.
That's my thought.
And maybe some of the information came out now as well, because Libby's account and his previous account, it's private. I've tried to friend request her, which I know is not possible because she's died, but her sister might. I think her sister's running it, but you can't get into it. I know a couple of YouTubers have also done this just to see what's behind there. What can we see? Because if you can get behind there, and if you were already following her, you can see that he liked one of her pictures, Anthony Shots, which is, wow, maybe that's why they appealed to the public.
It could just be that. So what they're going to do, so what you've got to think, so at the beginning of the inquiry, they're going to, as you go on and on and on, as the longer you get, the least likely are the things you're targeting. Does that make sense? So you're going to go for the low hanging fruit first, and you go for what's likely. And the longer you go on, you go out. So for instance, if you've got someone's phone data and you're looking at their phone billing to understand who, because quite often one of the last 2 or 3 people to call someone happens to be the murderer. But if it's not them, then you go to the 4th and 5th, then you go to the 6th and 7th, and then you'll sort of go out. And then if you end up on the 15th or the 20th, because you're 5 years down the line, and then there's a red flag there because it's someone who's potentially catfishing, then even though it's less likely because it's far back, because you're so far down into the inquiry, well, you might as well look at it because you've exhausted everything else. So it could be that. Again, I'm just kind of guessing. But the 5 years thing is where it doesn't sit right with me, because it's like that they would have had access to her phone way back then, and if it was important enough, then why has it taken 5 years? But again, it took all that time to release the moving image. It took that time to release Guys, the car in the CPS abandoned car park. All these things took time. So if they were really open and honest early on and this had come out later, you might think it's nothing. But because they're drip feeding, it could be something they had all the way back then.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, it might even turn out that way. Also, thank you to from Grace, don't worry about it, for your $4.99 super sticker. Did someone online tell Libby to factory reset her phone? I mean, it's possible, because guess what? Mr. Klein also factory reset his phone. So when they did the search warrant, I actually wrote down all the things that they got there. It's on that affidavit. An Apple iPhone 4, an Apple iPhone 3G, that was last used in 2015. Everything is pretty much last used 2015 and 16. But there was one Samsung Galaxy S5 that was factory reset on the 23rd of February, 2017. And they did a search warrant on the 25th. So that was interesting. And then on the 27th, he's like, oh yeah, there's this Apple iPhone I have. I forgot about this one. And that one was last used on the 27th of February, 2017, which he then handed over. It's also interesting that he used another profile called Emily Ann 45, and that was his stepsister's name.
Wow.
So he solicited girls using her profile, saying that, okay, trigger warning, everyone, saying that, pretending to be her, saying that I have sex with my dad and my brother, and just getting girls to talk with that, and oh no, this guy was very, very unwell. So yeah, he also registered his Instagram account, Anthony Shots, on the 20th of July, 2016, and on the 14th of July, 2016, the Snapchat on that one phone. particularly that Samsung Galaxy S5 was of interest to me because that was factory reset, as I say, on the 23rd of February 2017. And the picture that he liked of Libby's was 50 days before her murder. That was interesting too. There's all that. So I don't know if he would have told her to factory reset her phone. I'm not sure, Grace. Who knows at this point? But I'm sure one would hope law enforcement knows.
I've got to be honest, right? I don't know Snapchat. It's one of those things where I used to send the phones off, and experts used to tell me like what was on it. So I don't know if he's messenger on Snapchat. Would it stay there, or do they disappear?
I don't know, because what I saw was if he uninstalled Instagram and Snapchat, and then they lost all the data.
No, if over the last say day or two, would it?
Yeah, then it would be there. Then it would be there. From what I gather. Then I also don't have Snapchat.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have it. I don't use it.
Yeah, I'm a Facebook generation.
Right. Yeah, I was there too, but now I got Instagram and LinkedIn. That's like I'm sort of looking at TikTok.
Oh,
but
well,
my goodness,
that's where we
Snapchat.
met, isn't it? LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly. We're all there. But this Snapchat, I mean, I know the picture that Libby posted that had like a time limit, like an Instagram story, where it said posted 3 hours ago, posted 7 hours ago, posted, so
Right.
that's how people could backtrack to see when it was posted. But they said that with this Keegan Klein dude, actually uninstalling and factory resetting, they lost all the data to make the connection between them, the messages. So I find that interesting. One would think they have a way of getting beyond that. But I watched an interesting, I think it was a documentary where they said that actually those companies are so corporate, you can't access the information because they don't want people to feel unsafe and like, oh my word, anyone can just access my information. So they're very private about it. Law enforcement can't easily get to it. That really sucks in these cases. Oh my goodness.
Well, they're businesses at the end of the day, aren't they? So the law that they're having to comply with the law is a kind of a secondary thing to why they exist.
Exactly.
It's why Apple phones are just almost impossible to get into. Even for law enforcement, and Apple are proud of that because they can go and sell phones to people and say, well, not even the law can get into them, so you're pretty safe.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's big boundaries there because it's all corporate, of course. And I mean, he used he called himself Keggy. He had all sorts of profiles: Keegan, Klein, Emily Ann, Keggy, and he mostly used Skype because they said Instagram, Snapchat, and others. So I'm like, what's the others? So it was Skype, Kik Messenger, Meet Me, and Facebook Messenger. And he would try to bait someone on one app and then take them to another. That's also why it's difficult to track him.
One other thing that does spring to mind is that, so in 2017, the police were aware of all this, weren't they?
Yes.
Whether or not it's an account that's used by multiple people, which would mean that's why they're putting it out. So it's like, right, we know about Klein. But who else has been using it? So that's why they're saying, has anybody met anybody from that?
Yeah.
And then they would be able to describe someone else. That would kind of make sense because otherwise they're asking for information that they already know. Otherwise, aren't they?
Yes, exactly. So I mean, I do find it interesting that on the 25th of February, I mean, they were murdered on the 14th, so 13th/14th, found on the 14th. It's like so soon after they raiding his house, search warrant, getting all his stuff, and then he's like let go for 3 years. What? That's just crazy. But it must be connected elsewhere.
Do we know that I don't think we do we? That the warrant was in connection with the girl's murder?
It wasn't in connection with their murder. It was just I don't actually know. Actually, that's a good question. I just know they did a search warrant. And he got a whole bunch of CP charges, like a huge list. So
that's either one of two things. It's either coincidence, or they were using a kind of, we'll get around it. We'll get a warrant. We don't like the look of him.
Yes.
We haven't quite got the grounds to get a warrant for the murder, but we've got something else, and we'll backdoor it that way. This could be one of those two things, isn't it?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Aggie, thank you so much for that. The Morphew girls lived in Indiana at the time and were playing volleyball. Okay. If that's the case, I don't know about it, and I'll look into it. Do you know about it? The Morphew girls lived in Indiana and they were playing volleyball. My goodness.
Sorry, I saw a question from JC. He says that that in Denmark they can get into the iPhones. I think it depends on what iOS you've got. If you've got a particular one, so I mean, I've been out now for a few months, but when I left, there was certainly the latest iOS. I think what happens is they release a new one, then it takes time to be able to crack it, and then so they're always playing catch up.
Yes.
So yeah, they can eventually get into iPhones, but when they update the software, they're always sort of having to try and work on it again.
Yes, and Charlie asked, will he do an analysis of the Summer Wells case? He already has. Go check it out on the playlist. We hypothesized big time on the Summer Wells case. That was brilliant.
Was that my debut? Was that my debut on here? I can't remember.
I think so. Wait, I interviewed you.
No,
first
it wasn't,
about
was
your
it? I think it was about the third one. I think I've just come on and waffled for the first one.
We learned all about your career, and then what did we do after that? Oh, coffee time, and
Coffee
then we did
time,
the
yeah.
Summer Wells one.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was it. Yeah,
Absolutely. So I can see people are saying red flags about Libby's grandfather. I mean, he's very young grandfather. Have you seen him?
Yeah, but the from what I can make out, the girls are filming the person because he gave them the creeps, and if it was a granddad, it would be, oh, hi, granddad, how you doing? It wouldn't be get the phone out to film him.
Exactly. I really feel, my gut feel is that almost they were expecting, as you say, maybe that male model, and then when he's like, I'm coming now, I'll be over the bridge right now, here I come, and then this guy starts walking at you. That would be so scary.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we were getting ourselves into their heads, weren't we? And you imagine if you're up on that bridge in the middle of nowhere, that man did something to make them want to get out and film him.
Yes.
What he did, I don't know. Whether it was his demeanor, or he's walked off and turned around and come back again, or but he certainly did something to creep them out, didn't he?
Yes, I wrote somewhere here, I mustn't forget. He actually was seen in some of his social media profiles, because he had some of his own as well, not just the Anthony Shots one, with a handgun. So I was like, that's interesting. I mean, everyone can, especially in America, where those gun laws. Wow, lots of people have guns. Almost everyone has one, from what I gather. But maybe it said here with the black handgun. That just seems the most likely to me, because when I've watched videos of people going to walk over the bridge themselves, a lot of people have done this, right? And if you've seen those videos where they walk over the bridge and walk the path they would have walked and then go over the creek, it's like sometimes knee deep, depending on where you are. So how are you going to control two girls over there? There was one interesting hypothesis of him trying to get them down the hill, and it's kind of like a basin, and that this is just an hypothesis, that he wanted to do something there to them, and they bolted across the creek. That's smart. But then he chased them, and maybe he had a weapon. That was interesting. Thought about that one.
Yeah, difficult, isn't it? Whatever has gone on, at least the police know, because it's all on the video, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they would know.
Because even finding Libby's shoe just on the one side of the creek, I'm like, it makes it seem like she probably bolted. I don't know how her shoe came off, but you don't know what type of shoe it was.
Yeah, I mean, she probably wasn't dressed for walking through the creek, so it might have just come off, and he said, leave it and carry on, potentially. Yeah.
This is an interesting question. How common is it for young girls to factory reset their phones? I'm 59. I've never done that. Have you done that?
I don't think I have. Apart from when I've gone to sell it, if I've gone to or give it to somebody else, and I don't want them to look at my pictures.
See, I don't know I've got any
dodgy. They're my pictures, and I just don't like myself topless on the beach.
Right.
Before anyone thinks I've got anything dodgy on there. You
don't know how common that is.
Don't.
I mean, my husband's in IT, and he does it a lot. He's always like, "That's right. Once a year, the computers all get reset, the phones, everything."
You need to keep an eye on him, G.
Yeah, I need to. I need to see what's going on.
You look at his internet search history as well.
Right? No, I think that will get reset every day. It's just like, I don't know. For me, it's not that uncommon, but for teenage girls, it's pretty uncommon, I suppose. It sounds like someone told them to do it. If I had to guess what happened there.
Yeah.
Week before.
You'd only do it if you wanted to get rid of whatever was on the phone, wouldn't you? And what the teenage girls have on their phones.
Exactly. But I must say, wow, Libby's Twitter, someone's hacked her account, by the way. Has anyone seen that? I went to look at it today, and someone has hacked her account because they're posting now. Well, May this year. That was interesting. And they're like, oh dear, someone's hacked it. But it's just, I don't want to say anything bad about a victim. She seems a little bit naughty, just like her photo and everything on there, I'm like, shame. She probably really met someone really sinister and creepy, which is terrible to think about. It's all like good fun, teenage girls. Oh, and this creepy man walked across the bridge. My goodness.
So
Yes, this I saw.
if you think about it, right? So, what sort of time do schools finish in America?
I don't know, but they were off school that day.
But if it was a last minute thing, if there was an arrangement, it must have been done quite recently, mustn't it?
Yes.
So it couldn't have been like done a week ago because they in their mind they would have been at school.
Yeah.
So if it was arranged, it must have been done in the last day. So it would have been done after the factory reset, wouldn't it? Any
Yes.
chat arranging the meet.
True that. And this, yeah, that's true. I wonder when they knew that they're going to have this unexpected day off.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
How
Because it was in the
forward
week
it was.
before, but was it 2 days or 3 days before? You know what I mean? Like in the week before.
Yeah.
What if he said, okay, I'll meet you on the bridge at this time, but you got a factory reset? I don't know. Goodness.
I don't know. To me, factory reset is to get rid of like if they've been sending each other dodgy photographs or something.
Yeah. Which all the girls he was talking to, unfortunately, were doing that. I'm not saying, because we don't know yet if he talked to Libby besides liking a photo, but he's said it's all there on that affidavit as well. They blanked it out, but it shows big lists of what girls had sent him. No. You gotta watch your daughters. I'm also nervous on TikTok because you see literally 8-year-olds on there. I'm like, it's really this crazy mix. TikTok freaks me out because it's like 8-year-old girls and then like 60-year-old men, and I'm like, what is going on? Just all access. It's very scary.
Yeah.
Wow, no protection there. So, it was released that there were signatures at the crime scene. Did you hear that? I think this is. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
if this
I don't
is
think it was official, was it? It wasn't
I don't think it
official,
was
but it's come
official.
out from someone, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder what that was, because that would be serial
anything.
killer style, isn't it? A
It
once-off
could be
killer,
anything,
is he
couldn't
going to
it?
leave a signature?
But what do they mean by signatures? I mean, signatures could be that it's a particular MO. Like if he was to use handcuffs, I don't know, that could be a signature, or I mean, up to the extreme of the way he left the bodies. You know what I mean? There's a lot in between that, isn't there? I don't. It's what I don't, because it's not official, is it? So I don't know whether that's terminology that's sort of come out, or it's really difficult to comment on things like that without knowing more about the case.
Yeah, it piques my interest, but I just don't know what. Yes, I mean, what are the signatures?
Yeah,
and it doesn't seem like the brightest spark. Honestly, he left the phone behind and everything. It's like not the smartest dude. So I'm not sure about the signature. Sounds like Hannibal Lecter at this point. Like, oh my word, he left this and this. But I'm like, what did he leave? He left the phone there.
Because it conjures up all sorts of things in your mind, but it could be something really simple.
Yes. If she factory reset, maybe she was trying to hide from someone. That's interesting as well. Maybe he gave her the creeps beforehand.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And then he arrived. Then she's like, oh my word. That would be scary. But how did he know she was there then? So many thoughts. Yeah, why wait so many years?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that does feel like it's because you sort of go outwards in your investigation, and the further out you go, the least likely things are, but you still got to chase them up. And again, I'm only guessing. And they've hit this red flag of this fella that worries, that want to meet girls, and I think, well, we've got to follow that up.
Yes. I'm just seeing some people are saying, I just want to make sure if mods want me to slow the chat down, because some people are like, can you slow it down? Nope. I think we're all good. I don't know who's losing connection. Some people say they're losing connection to the video. I can still see it. Looks okay. We seem all right.
Oh, yeah, I've not lost you.
Yeah. Can everyone see now? That's so weird. People are like, where'd they go? Did we say something naughty? Because then YouTube will block our stream. What did we say? Signatures?
Well, we were having a nice chat anyway, weren't we?
Yes, we were. We were going into Hannibal and signatures.
I think you cracked the case there, Gisela. That's the most amazing thing anyone has ever said in this case, and you cracked it there. Should we go now?
And now no one knows what it was because they all lost it. Oh my word. Let's see the speculation. Perhaps Bridge Guy had arranged to meet the other two girls that witnesses saw, but he changed plans when he saw Libby and Abby. That's a scary thought. Those other two women who are on the bridge. Well,
possibly.
if it is Anthony Klein or Keegan Anthony Klein, I keep saying Anthony. Keggy Klein, then he was very much into very young girls. Terrible. I'm so glad he's in jail now. He must stay there. My goodness. Okay. From JC, comment for you.
Yeah, no, I agree. You might be better in Denmark than us. But the latest iOS, we always struggled with when we were playing catch up. That was all.
What are they saying? Maybe they found canine hairs on one of the girls. What? Where are we going with that thought?
That's a leap.
Yeah. Wait. What? Yeah.
I mean, we have been through all this, haven't we? We went through it the other night. But I just, to me, if they had DNA at the scene from him, I don't think they would be releasing Klein. Right? They haven't released Klein, have they?
No, they haven't released him. No.
They haven't released Klein. They've released Anthony Shots, haven't they? This is why it makes me think that it might be someone else using that account, because they must know all about Klein.
So Anthony Shots is Klein, but the pictures they used were the male model. It's just a stolen. It's like taking Johnny.
Yeah, no. What I mean is, so if someone else is using Shots as well as Klein,
that's interesting.
That makes sense. Otherwise, they're asking for information that they already know. Unless, thinking as my brain's ticking, unless what they're trying to establish is whether Klein is someone that just does the things over the phone, or whether he does actually go out and meet girls. Maybe they haven't got evidence of him meeting girls. They've only got evidence of him talking to girls, and that's what they want to get. Maybe
that is actually very true, because he does sort of brag about, hundreds of girls or 100 girls or sometimes 15, sometimes 100, he says. But that's true. He himself, from what I've read, didn't say, I went out to meet them.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Snapchat goes away almost instantly. Okay. I just gather it's sort of like an Instagram story, right? I don't have Snapchat.
I've seen phones we've got off of criminals, and I've seen Snapchat conversations on their downloads. But I just get given it, and they say we've done it, and I'm like, oh, thanks. Don't know how they do it. They're the experts, not me.
I'm just looking quickly here. Sorry, people are still saying the video's gone, and we don't want them to send you up this goodness. I'm just going to check on my side.
I think you're at Ladybug. You're absolutely right. And for me, the most heartbreaking thing. So someone said to me, who was it said this the other day? Someone made a comment on my channel that Libby was talking about becoming a police officer, and for her, the quick thinking that she did in that last moment, like her last action, and for me, it would be heartbreaking if that brave girl's last action didn't lead to them finding her killer. That would be awful.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, thank goodness they have the audio, well, probably a video, but so much she knew to, oh my word, need to film just in case. I mean, not everyone would think of that.
Just imagine if we now, Summer Wells case, if there was a phone that videoed the person that took Summer Wells. This is what I think. I can't quite get my head around how they haven't found him. I'm not sitting here having another pop at the police again. I'm not. But you just think that's such good evidence right at the very beginning. It's heartbreaking, isn't it? That's not led straight away to someone being arrested.
Yes, I mean, at this point, I really hope they will actually arrest someone and not just pin it on someone. Like, I mean, find the killer and arrest the killer. That would be amazing. That's my fear, is that they're going to pin it on some big sicko. Like, if it is Keegan Klein and if it actually wasn't him, but they're like, this fits the profile. I don't know. I worry. But
there's still, as we discussed the other night, they've still got to connect whoever it is to the scene, haven't they? Some way.
Yes.
Connect him to the girls. Connect him to that area at that time somehow.
Yes. Some people have got connection problems, and they say, I wonder who is doing this to the channel for time. I don't know. If you all in America having problems, is that what it is? I don't know.
Yeah, we're fine, aren't we?
We're okay over here. Yeah. No buffering. It's crystal clear. I don't know what's going on there. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes YouTube has problems too. Yeah, but we're doing okay over here. Wow. See, you're back again. And from just who I know, you guys are in America, right? I'm sorry if it's happening, though. Oh, interesting. You have to factory reset if you can't remember your password. Okay.
I thought you had to have a password to factory reset it. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, other way around. Who knows?
I'm not. I say we always use the phone nerd, so they were much better at this sort of thing. I just saw a
Yes.
comment in there, someone saying, "Did they have DNA?" And we speculated about this the other night, and I think, well, it's either one of two things: either they haven't, or they've got DNA, and it's somebody that has never been arrested before. It's one of those two things.
Yes.
Because
It's weird
if
how
they
they
had
just
DNA
say
and it was
we may
someone I
have it
know,
or we may not have it.
well, we wouldn't be having this conversation now. It would have been solved years
Yes.
ago.
Yeah, and I wish they could release his voice. How about that?
Yeah.
Keggy's voice. Could we maybe hear what he sounds like saying down the hill? Could
But
help.
then, so voice analysis is a weird one. So it's not an exact science. It's opinion. So someone, an expert, will say, "I think it's strong, moderate, whatever." So I don't think that on its own would convict someone. You'd still need to put them at the scene some other way. I mean, I'm not American, so I don't know how to. Peter Pronzo, if he's here, might know this.
Yeah.
But here, you wouldn't be able to convict someone alone just on voice recognition. There'd have to be something else to back it up.
Oh my goodness. Haven't had TikTok or Snapchat. Yeah, heard their signatures. I'm just reading if there's any questions. An error occurred. That is so strange. We are cracking the case. YouTube is now we're on to this channel here. What is going on tonight? Oh my word.
Is it just America? I've been kicked off 8 times and I'm in America. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems so.
Maybe the Americans haven't paid their bill. It's something going on over there.
Or depends where in America. I mean, tornadoes.
It's an attack on them from China or something.
That or tornadoes. Not that I'm saying it's there now, but I think it did some damage, right? Oh my goodness. It was buffering. Load my resolution and stop. No idea why. Internet's good on the side. They say stop and start a new stream. That takes a whole bunch of setup, right? That's a whole thing. Goodness, but we're just about almost done, aren't we? Anything else that you want to speculate or say? I mean, we're doing part 3 on Friday.
Yeah, so on Friday we're doing the Q&A, aren't we? So
yes,
we can answer all the questions that people haven't missed. Gone today.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know, really. It's again, I just keep coming back to the same thing. With so little information, it just makes it really, really hard to kind of get your head around. I mean, there's certain things you can say for sure. So, in terms of it's I'm saying for sure. I'm doubting myself now as well. So I don't think that the girls knew the killer. I don't looking at what happened. I don't think that. I think the person, whoever was there, knew the area. So it was either local now or had been local recently in the past. I think they had a weapon. I think that's almost certain in order to control those 2 girls. We don't know whether it was planned. We don't know whether it was targeted. It's a difficult one, isn't it? We do know that the police have got more than they're releasing. We don't know why they're not releasing it. I mean, about the voice. I mean, it could be that everything else around that is too distressing to hear. It could be that. But what makes me doubt that is the fact that they've held stuff back they didn't need to. So, for instance, the walk, they didn't need to hold that back, but why did they? So then you're trying to get yourself in the mindset of the police, and you can't work them out. That's where I sit at the moment. I feel like people are looking at me for answers, and I struggle because I'm just guessing. It's the same as everybody else.
Yeah, for me, I was initially not thinking it's a gun, and I don't think he would have shot them because people would have heard that.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure he would have controlled them with a gun, right? Maybe even had a.
Yeah, it's a likely scenario, isn't it?
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know how you control 2 girls like that. Just if it was a knife, like how? Like
well,
across the creek?
You put the knife to one of the other girls and you say, "Do what I'm going to say," or your friend gets stabbed. I mean, you can control 2 people with a knife.
True. That would be, and not to be seen on a day like that. It's quite strange, isn't it?
Well, yeah, he wanted to just get off the bridge as quickly as possible, didn't he?
Yep, he did. Oh my goodness, YouTube, you're going to end up losing every viewer and decent content creator. I do not know what's going on there. Anyway, but I think we've covered pretty much everything there that we wanted to tonight, today, this afternoon, whenever it is. I just want to see if there's any other notes I wrote.
Nisha's asking if we think this is his first kill. Potentially, but just as likely not. I don't think this can be his first crime. So he must have done something before he got there. So, like for instance, on my channel tomorrow night, we're talking about a case, Susie Lamplew, and one of the suspects in it, a man called John Cannan, who's now inside for murder. Previously, he got convicted of rape, and it's just that progress. And he might not got convicted of a rape, or he might not. But there's always a progress, isn't there? No one wakes up one morning and says, "I'm going to go and kill people."
Yeah.
There's a lead up to it.
Isn't he so much like Ted Bundy? That one you're referring to now? Oh my word, Cannan,
he's a scary dude.
He reminds me of Ted. He's the British Ted Bundy.
Yeah, it does look like him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But you don't just wake up one morning and go, "I'm going to," and also some people might not have seen what we were chatting about the other night, and it takes a lot of confidence to walk up to two girls and I'm going to control you, and as I say, I couldn't do it. I couldn't walk up to two girls and go, right, I'm going to control you, because I'd be nervous. Can I do it? Am I sure I'll be able to control two girls? If I can't, one's going to run off and I'm going to left with the other one, and she's going to call the police. So to me, it's like a build up of, I've got more confident in controlling people through rape, whatever it is, potentially killed someone else, and then I'm confident, because controlling two girls isn't easy, is it? Do you know what I mean? Being able to go into that situation and control those two girls, and not only that, then lead them for half a mile through the woods, across a creek, control them enough to be able to do whatever he did there. That screams out of me as someone that's kind of practiced in this, be it through rape or whatever, and he could have killed before. We don't know.
Yes. So Patricia Burns has said a few times now, it's Christopher Belter. I'll have to look into that. Have you looked into Christopher Belter at all?
No.
I mean, interesting picture. I don't know anything about him though. So, but I can definitely.
I know there was a suspect is the fella with the little beard on his chin. I don't know his name. And the police turn up at his house, and he had a girl in his house. He'd kidnapped her.
Oh yes. I did read that.
Who was that? That was.
Oh, I can't remember his name, but I saw his picture today and it freaked me out. I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, he's a scary looking dude as well.
That was a scary dude. So this is this correct, Patricia? I think this is Christopher Belter. I'm going to say SA of 4 teenage girls. And you wanted me to put the two next to each other, huh? Hold on 1 second. We'll do this. And we'll do this. I mean, this sketch really just looks like anyone, but yeah, I see what you mean.
But again, remember we had the discussion on the other night about you have to be careful with these sketches because of the process that it goes through in order from someone seeing something to it being put down on paper has to go through a lot of processes. And so you have to be careful with them. Yes.
Someone was asking earlier, how can you explore the area online? But there's some really great channels. There's one guy that's like an undercover cop, I think. Private investigator, I'm not too sure, but he's got a YouTube channel. True Crime Investigates, and he literally is walking. He's done whole documentaries on it. It's actually quite fascinating to watch, and he reenacts it. He even has two girls there and a guy dressed like Bridge Guy, which I found very scary to watch because I'm like, you literally dressed a guy up as Bridge Guy and walked across the bridge with two girls in front and then simulated the whole thing. But imagine if people, onlookers, had seen that Bridge Guy that day. They'd get so scared.
Yeah,
there he is.
We do that sometimes in the UK. Reconstructions where we lead someone who looks like the victim through a particular area, hoping that it jogs people's memories.
Yes, I just want to see if I can find any of that. But that was so fascinating to see that. Anyway, while we read questions here quickly, unless they knew him.
Anthony Greeno, is that who's that people are saying?
Anthony Green.
Is he the fellow with the?
He might have been. Let's see. Oh, I just remember his picture will never leave my mind. I can't find. That doesn't look. Wait, who's Christopher Belt? Chadwell.
Chadwell, that's
Chadwell.
it. Yeah, that's it. James Chadwell. Yeah.
That was a scary guy. But I think they said now that we're not interested in him anymore. I think that's what the police have said from what I read. And I was like, oh,
right.
Like he's of no interest to us. So that's quite interesting. Wouldn't that guy be too young? I don't know. They say between 18 and 40. Quite a broad age range they've got there. Yes. Okay. Sorry. That's what you're saying. Anthony Greeno is the guy True Crime Investigates. That's what they're saying with Greeno. Not a suspect. This is the guy with the channel, Anthony Greeno. He is absolutely brilliant, especially with this case. My goodness. So I think if you want me to show you a part of it, do you want to? I'll just go here quickly. Just to give you an example, okay? Then you guys can go there and do that. Let's just go like this, share the screen, and we want, wait for it, we want this one. Yes?
This is about power to you, and you want to know what we know. One day, you will.
It's so well done.
I quite like yours earlier on. Yours is on a par, I'd say.
Oh, thank you.
Our granddaughter Libby was flat out killed.
My daughter Abby and her friend Libby were found murdered.
Mm-hmm. For what? No clue. Two innocent girls walking on the trails, laughing, giggling, taking pictures.
The girls stuck together right up to the end.
Every child is a lot of your life, and you can't ever imagine losing any one of them.
Yes. Yeah, watch parties. We can do watch parties and talk every 10 seconds to remain fair use, as I am now. But it's actually really good if you want to check it out.
This is my hometown. And for something like that to happen here, that's such a beautiful place. I mean, look at that. It's unbelievable that it happened here. I mean, it never really hit me that hard until I realized, like, this is where I'm from.
We stopped at the entrance.
Okay, I won't show you the whole documentary. I just wanted to show this. I think there's this part where he's got the two. There. This one I'll show you.
Down the path and across the high bridge in about 30 minutes. Approximately 12:30 p.m., the anonymous woman at this property took her two dogs on a walk to the bridge. Upon arriving, she came in contact with a man wearing a blue jacket, brown hoodie, a hat, and washed-out blue jeans. She engaged in casual conversation with the man. After speaking for a few minutes, the woman returned home, and the man was seen walking back across the high bridge. She described this man as in his 40s with reddish-brown hair, a very thin goatee, and that he didn't have blue eyes. She noticed nothing out of the ordinary with the person. A little over an hour later, Kelsey German is headed to town to run some errands. Libby.
So I'm just showing you an example. You can go check it out there. I don't think I can show you the whole thing, but there's a whole series there. And I mean, even that was literally Kelsey, Libby's sister, in the car. So they're reenacting the whole thing. That must be quite triggering for her to drive there again and do the whole thing. My goodness. But very interesting to see that you saw the guy dressed as Bridge Guy. Like, wow. I didn't know you also do that at Scotland Yard, reenacted.
Yeah. We don't do it all the time, but it's just to trigger witnesses, really.
Okay. Very interesting. And has it helped in the past?
Well, you always get someone calling you. How useful that is, I don't know, but yeah, the case we're talking about tomorrow, they did it on that. Well, that's not work because it's not solved, but yeah.
Is that Susie Lampley you're doing tomorrow?
Susie Lampley, yeah.
Yes. I also covered it on this channel a while ago, believe it or not.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, we're coming at a different angle. So my friend has written, he reinvestigated it. And he thinks he solved it, and I think he could be right. and he said where the body is, but the police won't go and search where he says the body is.
And it's
so,
not
yeah,
where they've searched for so long before, right? Because there's that whole like field area that they've searched and searched and searched, but
yeah, no, he says they're going the wrong route. They've got the wrong suspect, and he's identified who he thinks it is.
Wow,
so
so
yeah,
it's not Canaan, huh? According to him.
Not Canaan, no, it's not.
Canaan. I mean, with that car and the SLP, the number plate, the Canaan had, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Like Susan Amplu and the year, that was interesting. Anyway, we'll tune in tomorrow night. Remember Crime Watch. Yes, there's so many. And Zav Girl, there's so many you guys are mentioning that have done an excellent job on the Delphi cases, as many others as well. Yes. Keegan is 27 now. He sure is. He was 22 then. Yes. Interesting. Well, shall we wrap up and answer questions on Friday? Friday on Murder Academy.
Yeah, we can go proper left field on Friday, can't we? And just
oh yeah.
I mean, because the ultimate answer is to all your questions about could it be this? Is yeah, possibly. Because at the moment we just don't know, do we? We don't know. Yeah. I mean, I've seen some wild theories. I think possibly not, but there's like of those 4 scenarios, the one I think the police have obviously ruled out would be to do with a family. But everything else, I think, is still on the table.
Yeah. So feel free to bring your questions, ask whatever you want to ask there. But anything's possible at this point because we know so little information that the police has released. Goodness, I hope it does get solved, though. It's really been a long time, and they do deserve justice, absolutely, as every victim does. But wow, teenage girls, 13 and 14, that's just terrible. Isn't it scary to think that they would have, like, Libby would be like 19, almost turning 20 now? Like finished high school, 18 and 19. Oh, my word. Goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I will ask this. I did write it down. Would you ever want to touch on the Daniel Robinson case? I've covered it. That's someone I'm very passionate about covering. I've covered it in many episodes. But would you ever want to give your hypotheses on the Daniel Robinson case?
Me personally?
Yes.
So I could, but I was watching your show the other day, and he said he's got Scott Wagner.
Yes.
Going to me, and Scott is a really experienced homicide investigator.
Yeah.
From the NYPD, and he a lot of cold cases, and he's very, very good at what he does. So I can, but it wouldn't be anywhere near what Scott can do because Scott's going to be on the ground and being able to do. So I can do it in terms of for us, but I don't think I'd be able to contribute anywhere near to what Scott's going to be able to do.
It might just be interesting to hear your thoughts based on being from Scotland Yard, whole different country, and Scott can't share certain things.
No, I'm very happy to do it if it's on that basis. If people don't expect me to be able to come up with the answer, but hypothesize it and talk about how we would do it and things to consider. Very happy to do that. Yeah.
Yes, because that could be quite interesting because it's a very strange case. Goodness, with many possibilities as well, and that just doesn't make sense. How the police they are like, oh well, he just walked into the desert. How? Where? What do you mean? What from?
But I mean, look, we're all getting our heads around our hypotheses, aren't we? And that would be one.
Yes.
But there are others, and you have to consider them all. And what I'd seen you post about Daniel, and it's only yesterday. What a lovely man David is.
Amazing.
What a lovely man. It's heartbreaking, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, he'll be back again. I think next week or so. He hasn't had much help from the media. Not all that much support. He's literally doing this himself, which is so sad.
I mean, I've got my own thoughts on that, which I probably won't share with you. But
well, you can in the after party StreamYard room.
Yeah.
Maybe not live. Depends what it is. Someone asked if I have an email address. It's on my about page if you want to get it there. grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. That's it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I appreciate your time. Thank you to all the mods who were here as well. And especially thank you to Stephen Keogh. We'll be on his channel on Friday, Murder Academy, which is linked below. Any last words?
Not like I'm dead.
Last words. Yeah, that's it. You're out.
Tell my kids I love them.
Let me rephrase. Any final thoughts? Better way.
No. I've enjoyed it tonight, G. I always enjoy our company. You're good at what you do. It's always so much more relaxed. I was a bag of nerves when we did my one, and I was just like, it was like a machine gun coming out of my mouth. I couldn't stop talking because of my nerves. Much more relaxed.
The nerves are always
tonight.
there
It's
for the
lovely.
host. The nerves are there for the host every time. But thank you, everyone. Well, that was overtime every time, as always. I'll do some more map time. I know you guys want map time, but it's not so great on StreamYard to do map time. I don't know if you've ever seen my map time on StreamYard. It doesn't go so well. I'll do it on OBS at some point. If you want map time for this case specifically, let me know in the comments below. And then I'll see you very soon again.
Cool. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.